Hey guys, Ike here from Mike'sOutdoors.com. I'm here today to do a review on the new Hoyt Nitrum 30. As the name implies, this is a 30-inch axle-to-axle bow. This has the XTS Pro arc limbs on here, and this has the new Z5 cam and a half on this thing. This thing is available in 24 to 25 and a half. It has a couple different cams on it. It has 3 different cams. You have to order. Each cam is going to work with the specific draw length. So that's really nice. It's one of the ways that Hoyt gets so much efficiency out of their cams is by limiting the amount of space that they have, draw length adjustability that they have. So there's a couple different cams on here, and it basically adjusts from 24 to 30 inches with the different cams. The draw weight available is 30 to 40 pound max, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 55 to 65, which is really cool. 60 to 70 and 70 to 80. So I really like that as well, because you can get down with the short draw length for this bow. Your wife could shoot this bow. 30 to 40 pound range with a short draw length. You can order it up and your wife can shoot this bow. Your kids can shoot this bow. So it's got a good range to it. I mean, each specific model is going to be within that range, but you can order this thing in a 30 to 50 pound or 30 to 40 pound limbs with the short cam on it, and you can make it work for just about anybody. At the same time, you can also order this thing with the larger cams on it, and you can actually get it out to 80 pounds. So a lot of good versatility to this particular model. I really like the 60 to 65 pound max because it's best to shoot your bow on the maximum draw weight or as close to it as you possibly can. And I generally shoot about a 65 pound bow, so I like the fact that it has a 65 pound max set of limbs that you can get with this thing. Brace height on this thing is 6 3/4, so not a bad brace height. You know, anything under 7, a lot of people kind of shy away from, but 6 3/4 with today's bows, you know, are not bad at all. And I found this bow to be very forgiving. I'm at 20 to 30, 40 yards. I'm putting together as good or better groups with this bow than I have with some of my other bows. So the stability or the forgiveness is definitely there, even with the 6 3/4 inch brace height. Overall weight on this thing is 3.9 pounds. So nice lightweight package, and that's one of the first things that I noticed when I picked this thing up and got it out of the box was just how lightweight this thing is. 3.9 pounds is pretty good on today's market. You know, it's hard to get below 4 pounds, but this is a nice lightweight package and really does feel pretty good. 332 feet per second on your IVO. Now, I shot this thing and 332 was a little bit tough for me to believe that that was their IVO, simply for the fact of I shot it through my chronograph, and with this exact setup, 27.5 inch draw, and 70 pounds, 352 grain arrow with 20 grains of weight on a string, I was shooting 325, 324, 325, 326. So I'm getting almost the weight, the speed rating that they give it, which is an ATA speeding, which is a real world speed rating. So if you were to set this thing up at IVO, all things being equal, extend that draw length out from 27.5 to 30, which is what the IBO specs at. You can add 25 feet per second for an IBO speed, and that would get you up to about 350 feet per second, 355. So this thing, if you don't think Hoyt makes a fast bow, man, you ain't shot him in a while then, because this thing is lightning fast. I mean, when I shot it through my chronograph, when I shot it, I knew it was fast. I mean, it just absolutely, you knew it's fast as soon as you shoot it. And when I shot it through my chronograph and I'm getting 324, 326, man, it just blew me away. And that's the one thing about Hoyt that I've always liked and I've always respected is if Hoyt says a bow will do 330, it'll do 330. If Hoyt came out today and had a bow, they advertised the bow to do 400 feet per second, I would believe it, because they have been so honest in the past about their speed ratings. So they give this thing a 332 feet per second rating, ATA rating, which is a different kind of rating than your IBO. It's a realistic, real world speed, and it's hitting it. It's gonna hit that easily. So it's got the new zero torque cable guard on here. This is a pretty cool cable guard. What I like about it is the housing. It's got a nice housing on here to keep everything contained. It's not just sticking out there and doing its thing. It's got housing on the outside of it to protect it and keep it from getting damaged and getting injured. The nice thing about what this does is it's going to help eliminate torque on your riser. As you draw your bow back, it's going to bring your cables toward the center of the bow and help alleviate a little bit of torque on your riser and a little bit of torque on the overall bow. It's got a wooden grip on here. This is a one-piece wooden grip, and at first when I picked this thing up I thought it was a little bit bulky, but once you get this thing back and you settle in on this thing, it's actually a really nice grip and just sits in your hand really comfortably. One of the best Hoyt grips that I've ever felt. The machining on this bow is excellent, just like anything you get from Hoyt. It's got the new design down here to add a little bit of stability and a little bit of stiffness to your riser. We've got a kind of a bridged right there, and of course we got the bridged riser in the back as well. So we got a nice machining on this thing. All the machining from Hoyt just looks fantastic. Overall, the bow is just very eye appealing. I mean, that is a fantastic looking bow. It's got the air shocks on the bottom, which Hoyt's had for a couple years now, and it's just a really cool innovation. It's got some rubber dampeners here. It's got rubber dampeners on the back of your zero torque cable guard system. Got a couple rubber dampeners up here on top as well. The other thing I like about this thing, I mean, this bow just looks cool. Up here on the top, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but we got the skull here with the double drop signs on it, and it says "Get Serious, Get Hoyt" on here. So I like that kind of stuff. Got a little bit of rubber right here in the shelf guard there, so to absorb vibration. Your arrows hit them. You know, it's gonna do quite a bit to help quiet this bow down. Got a string stop on here, and it's got a pretty dang good set of strings on this thing too. I was really impressed with the strings. You can see my peep sight now is turned. It's turned maybe a quarter of a turn. When I first had it set this thing up, it was setting about like that, and with the stretch in the strings, it's turned maybe a quarter of a turn. So pretty impressed with the quality of the strings, and just pretty impressed with the quality of everything on this bow. Okay, the finish on this bow is pretty good as well. I've got a couple spots. I've got one little spot in here in this crevice where it didn't quite get covered. Got a little chip there, and I've got a couple spots on the other side that are pretty small and right near. Got one little spot right here, one little spot right here on the finish where it's got just a little bit of flaking or a little bit of damage to it. But overall, the finish on it, other than that, is pretty good. The finish on the limbs looks good. I don't see any flaking on it. I don't see any issues with the finish on the limbs. So we'll just take this thing out here now and fling a couple arrows through it, show you some up close views of it, and we're going to show you the chronograph results that we got with this thing. This is the Hoyt Nitrum 30 352 grain arrow, 70 pound draw weight, 27.5 inch draw length, and I've got a D loop and a peep sight on the string. (326 feet per second). Alright, so first got this bow in. Tuning on it was simple, setup was easy. I had this thing tuned out in just a few minutes, had absolutely no issues with tuning. This thing is set at 27.5 inch draw. I'm shooting about a 370 grain arrow now, and I've got it set at 70 pounds on the money. Like I said, the grip is really nice. When you first pull this thing back, it settles into your hand really well. Draw cycle is really good. The draw cycle on this bow, even at 70 pounds, it doesn't have a big buildup and a dump. It doesn't even have a really big buildup. It's just a nice, smooth, continuous build, and then when you get to the back, it has a nice, slow drop off. The back wall on this thing is absolutely solid as can be. I mean, it's just as solid as a rock. The bow has little or no vibration at the shot, and you can see I'm not shooting any kind of stabilizer or anything like that on it. Has a little bit of a jerk you'll see to the side, and that is simply because I'm using back tension and pulling through with it, and my natural, when I'm done with the bow, it naturally is going to fall away. So that's what you're seeing there, but the bow has no kick to it or no vibration to it. You can see the back wall. Man, that thing is absolutely rock solid as far as creeping with this bow. You can relax pretty good with it once it really doesn't want to take off, really doesn't want to rip your arm out of the socket. Settles in great. I mean, it's absolutely solid. Like I said, I'm shooting with no stabilizer on here. Settles in really nice, got a really good hold to it, and really is minimal amount of pin float on here for me. Noise is next to nothing. I mean, absolutely no sound at all that I can hear, and usually from the shooter's ear, it's a little bit more than what the person standing next to you. Again, draw cycle on this thing is really nice. So this is the Hoyt Nitrum 30. It's going to be a fantastic little hunting bow. It's a great little short, lightweight package, putting out incredible speeds. I mean, just absolutely blown away with the speeds. And the bow is smooth. I love the draw cycle on this bow. I cranked her down to 65, which is about my hunting weight that I normally shoot, and it was just a pleasure to actually draw. It has no hump to it at all. It has a nice slow buildup. When it gets to its peak, it doesn't want to dump down. It has a nice drop down, nice consistent feel to it, and just absolutely great to hold. For a 30-inch bow too, it feels very nice and very solid at full draw. It doesn't have a lot of pin float to it. I absolutely can settle in and be very solid. The new zero torque cable guard system really does seem to eliminate some torque to it. It flexes in and allows this thing to not as put much pressure on the riser. The new Z5 cam is putting out some fantastic speeds and just an absolutely awesome bow, and I cannot say enough good things about this Hoyt Nitrum 30. Absolutely love it. Absolutely great shooting bow. So for more information on this bow, we'll put a direct link to Hoyt's website down below, and for more product reviews, how-to videos, you can check out our website, ikesoutdoors.com. Appreciate you guys watching.